Hello, Terrans. I want to discuss something with you that I just discovered. I didn't know about this project, but damn it, it's so ironic, you can't miss. Let me explain, okay? The project is called Ignis, Agnes, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But look what it does. Basically, it's a library built on top of GTK4, kind of like libadwaita, but it's specifically made for building desktop widgets. With Python, by the way. For example, these are widgets made with Ignis. This top bar is one widget. That sidebar, another widget. More like a widget's container, really. BTW, I haven't tried it yet, and you'll see later why, so if I make any mistakes, it's not my fault. So that's the top panel configuration. And it's basically a Python script that declares various components. That's the clock widget. That's the volume. It actually looks very nice to use. I will give it a try, when I can. But do you know what makes this project so ironic? I guess half of you suspected already, so for the rest, check this out. Unsupported compositors, there's Wayland Roots, Hyperland, Smithay, Kwin, and pretty much all the compositors that support Wayland Layer Shell Protocol. Guess what isn't there? Yeah, Chief, we got a GTK project that doesn't actually run in GNOME because Shell doesn't implement the shell layer. Too many flukes, don't you think? Nothing new, it's a 5-year-old request, but miraculously it's always right in front of you. So, Guy asks if there are any plans for GNOME to support the Layer Shell protocol, but Jonas says no, there is not, and GNOME doesn't intend to support third-party panels, lock screens, notification UIs, etc., and obviously receives hate reactions. Ghost user doesn't lose faith, so he insists, and he asks how we can configure lock screen to behave like extra lock, whatever the hell that is. And Jonas says it could be done with shell extensions, which is the biggest disaster ever. For starters, 5 years ago nobody would believe that 5 years later Shell would still be using the super stupid Shell UI, and it wouldn't be ported to GTK yet. Secondly, working on desktop today, it's very obvious there's a need to do as many things as possible without leaving the app you're working in, which means customized shell components are actually useful, and shell extensions are not the easiest thing to write and maintain, because they are part of shell codebase. So, even if you try to do a simple thing like adding any kind of indicator to the panel, it becomes a super hassle. Then people typically try to change the opinion of the maintainer, and that simply never happens. Anyway, so just a month ago, another guy says that GNOME and Weston are the only two major compositors that do not support this protocol. But he has his facts wrong. Because if we check on Wayland protocols and Wayland shell layer, here, and scroll on the very bottom of this page, we'll see that Mutter isn't the only major compositor that doesn't support shell layer. It's actually the only one, period. Weston is basically a Wayland testing, doesn't count. So you know what's the most ironic of everything? From one side, we all are aware of the actual problem with the current extensions architecture and their toolkit too. And from the other side, GNOME devs are like, we don't need shell layer because we have extensions. Right, that makes so much sense, Chief.